Hello, I am Mark Pork, and I am trying to get the better at video games, but I am not Who the fuck wrote this shit? Oh, right, I did. Anyways, I got a video game that makes it so I can get better at video games or something. It's called The Beginner's Guide. It's by the people who made the Stanley Parable, which was a interesting video game-ish art thing. Yeah. Well, let's, of course, always check out the things here. We got closed captioning. We want full captions, always. Make sure that's good. Alright. And I'm using a 360 controller. Yeah. Hey, it works with Windows, like, right out of the box. And I don't want to have to get drivers to get my PS4 thing to work. So let's begin. It's a beginner's guide. Audio is indeed on. I am listening to it. I can hear birds tweeting. Look, move, look, and interact, I guess. Okay, nothing too difficult. Oh, hi.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
Hooray.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Cool.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Whoa,
it's
Jesus.
a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Can I
And
jump?
mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. What I
2009?
like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So,
Okay.
in 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't
Alright.
put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Like 3 Let's
I
Play
think he really
projects I've
understood
had.
this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like
Oh,
you
I
who
didn't
play
notice
this
that
also happen
before.
to find
That's
his
just an
work
orange
interesting,
crate.
then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's
Whoa.
about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Cool. So we're going to be going through half-finished games and seeing, like, how this guy made games and stuff. As interested as I am in a random video game developer talking about another random video game developer, this could still be good. Let's see what's going on. So, this is I mean, I'm not a tall person, but I'm pretty sure this door should be a bit taller. Oh, Jesus.
Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
Whisper machine.
This game is
Oh.
called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Anything in here? Nope. Well, obviously going to the red lights. Can't do that. Whisper machine. Oh, I ran out of ammo. I had no idea how much ammo I had. There's no HUD or anything. I was firing with the A button, by the way. Now all I can do is click an empty gun.
Security hull breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Whoop. Oh. Enemies
Kinda
will come
looks
out
like
here.
This game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah, I
For
kind of get that.
instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
I've noticed.
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is.
I highly
And I
doubt
think
that.
that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shift activation.
Okay, this is getting a bit pretentious already.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this road.
Oh, man. See? This is what happens when you look into space far enough. You just end up hitting the, hitting the bottom. The floor of space, as it is colloquially known. I'm gonna go into this one, if that one's opening. That's what I figured. Is this what it's like to be a game tester? You're just walking around in a broken, unworking... Oh, Jesus. Are we on
The
a...
space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Boop. Cool. I'm going back through it. Deal with it.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
It's easy. Hug the right wall, man. Come on. That's how they work. Whoop. Just hand on the right wall, and you keep going. And eventually you get to the end. I am already completely lost. This has not worked in my favor in the least. This was a terrible mistake. Yep. And that siren is going to annoy the fuck out of me. This is a very bad mistake. Oh, this way. I'd say I think I feel like I've been here before, but I can't tell any difference from any of the rooms to anything. I am completely and utterly lost. I am just stuck hugging the right wall right now. Because that is the only thing that I can do. Yep. Music's kind of alright. Hey! I did it!
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Woo.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay, shoot the engine. Whoop.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all.
Ooh.
That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's
Oh.
so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Ah, that, interesting concept for something that's really early in development, but I guess you wanted to keep the narrative straight and add some other things in. So, gonna die.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
Okay, hold on and give me a moment. I need to think of a cool phrase to say before I kill myself. That's just how it works. Either these curtains go or I do. Well, the curtains can stay then.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But
Okay.
when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Whoop. What? I'm back. Can I go into the labyrinth? No. So I just respawned? Oh no, I need to jump into the beam again to see the bug. For great justice. What? Whoa. Okay. Hello, maze.
The
Hello,
game
start
causes
point.
you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
The bottom
Or
of the
this floating
universe.
could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions.
Is Coda
Let's
you?
go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Like seriously? Are you just? Oh, okay. Bricks. The past was behind her. Well, the title was behind me. Can I? I cannot move. I can move.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Okay. Interesting. Whoa. But the future
So
could
it's a
not be
short
seen.
and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's
Why
trying
does
to
the
give
future
it a
keep
unique
changing?
voice rather than simply basing it on a
Okay.
pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Alright. I see what you're kind of getting at here. Oh. But the future is always behind her. Okay. How will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Oh. Ah. It kind of reminds me of Bastion. Or Slender. I am now entering. I don't know why, I just want to get like a shot of that. I am now entering. Fucking. Does the world not exist beyond 3 feet in front of me? Ah!
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Really just seems like an unfinished playing level, dude. Come on.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Whoa.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Well, at least the guy's kind enough to explain, you know, that things don't work. Which is good. I guess I can see where these kind of games kind of inspired him to make the Stanley Parable. Because the Stanley Parable is a crazy-ass fucking game. And I really do like those games that break narrative or do things differently or just kind of, like, mess with the player. I played Undertale not too long ago. That was fucking amazing. Oh, I'm slowing down. I am.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door...
Oh, come on.
So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Or I could do it as slow as goddamn possible. Yeah. But I played Undertale, and that's a fantastic game, which really fucks with you with all the saving mechanic and everything. And then I played Lisa, which is a game that really fucks with you on a you're seriously not a hero kind of thing. And now I just need to play Spec Ops The Line and make myself feel even worse. Alright, fine, you win. Okay, you make it into here, and you're home. Whoop. Game replay. Oh, that's stand on X staring at a bear for 3 hours. You walk around. A key in one game unlocks a door.
That's warm and nice and filled with
You are a
cool
gate.
ideas for games.
Playing a camera film with a button. A button you press to stop the
Coda would
chaos.
often
Which
tell
doesn't
me
work.
that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that
Shush.
he knew that he was actually a loving and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You construct a wall. The wall is destroyed. You are given a medal. Sharks are trying to eat you. Simultaneously, you are trying to eat the sharks. I have found, like, the greatest senior... Oh, I didn't even get to read some of the other ones. Ready, set, fish. I'm going to open the door and there's just going to be fish. Or is this the sharks one? Still, sharks are trying to eat you. You are trying to eat the sharks. It just sounds like the greatest summary ever of anything. Well, there's a lever.
Well,
There's a
this is one
door.
for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Albeit a
Go
very
ahead
simple
and see
one.
if you can solve it.
Okay.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
That's
You'll
clever.
see it a lot.
Okay. Puzzle games are pretty interesting to me, too. I just like using my brain. It's probably why I'm so bad at, like, Counter-Strike and Halo and all that shit, because I am terrible reflexes. Surprisingly decent at Dark Souls,
So
though?
that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay, well, let's take a look and see if we can find anything at all. I can't. What the hell?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
None of that even connects. There's... Whoa! Back to this again? Oh, I hear howling. I am now exiting.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and Puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
The Great and Lovely Descent. Oh. Okay. This controller's still a bit wonky. I'm just gonna keep backing up until... Yep, there's an invisible wall. Yeah, so... I mean, I've had a minor interest in game design and stuff, but I've never really done anything with it, so this is kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Whoa. Can I fall off?
The tools
Shit!
available to the creator shape what
Oh, God.
creative work they're going to end up making.
Okay.
Pay attention to the architecture in Coda's games.
I kind of can't
Notice
because
how they
it's
seem to
Jesus
stem from an engine
Christ.
that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Okay, so I guess I had to fall at some point or another. Yeah, okay, I get that. That is crazy. Oh. I'm stuck in a cattle farm now. This is getting into... What? Hey. Oh no. Oh no, don't you dare. I'm not. I am no fucking cow to be put in a goddamn thing. Yeah, I can't do anything else. But okay, yeah, this is I think I'm on an elevator. There's one level. 2 levels. Okay. Wait, supposed to go in here, and I'm stuck.
Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
See, I like the idea of some of these things, but oh, nope.
This
Can
is
I
something
even...
that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if you can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's kind of a difference between making a person wait a full hour of doing nothing and, you know, locking him in there for just like a minute so that they don't have their options run out. It's an important thing of game design, I guess, is just figuring out the timing on what thing, and the timing of patience of people, I guess, would be something like that. Alright, let's go further down into the bowels. Is that a swing set or a light? It's a light. And now we're kind of outside. And let me guess. Yep, yeah, there's... It's fucking skybox and you can't even see. I can't move. Okay, my controller went wacky again. This is getting very introspective.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Well, I guess with what they're talking about with games that are playable versus games that mean something, I guess technically, yeah, a game which is just a room you can move around in is technically playable. But you need things like obstacles or puzzles to actually make it a game. You need the player to be able to do something to affect the game in some way, other than just moving around. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Mm-hmm. You there. Did you come from up above? What was up there?
Begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the buttons on your gamepad to respond.
These were not in the buttons that you told me to use. There was an enormous prison I spent hours in. There were these floating colored blocks. I'm going with the floating colored blocks. That was the weird one, but I guess right up above us is the enormous prison. That's the world above. You've been there. This is important. Did you have a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, this is literally... Yes, that is literally the last thing I did before coming in here. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. I didn't solve it. Somebody else let me in. Technically, he told me the answer to the puzzle. You didn't solve it, so you have learned nothing. You cannot help us escape this prison. You are not the one that I need. Surely there will be someone else. Okay? Can't... Alright. What were the other options? Are we actually going to go through it? Or nope, this is different. Hello, how did you get there? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes? Did you want to know how to solve it? No. We actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it? I remember feeling strange. Why would I care about the black space in between the doors? There's a reason, but it may take time before you understand, which is fine. You'll see it again soon. Okay. Wait, so the... I guess the door would be locked from their end.
Down to the final floor of the level.
So they were stuck on the puzzle, but from the reverse direction? Just making sure. Freedom? Or street? Or an apartment complex?
It's a lamppost.
It is indeed.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
I hope so. I'm pretty lost right now. I guess we'll find out more next time.